Tony Yeboah was better in his prime than Abedi Pele. Do you agree or disagree?
I think for prime, I may have to agree.
Why do you agree?
I think it's two things for me. There's that confusion as to what Tony Yeboah's prime is. But I just believe that what he achieved at Leeds United goes beyond what we've seen in, when it comes to Ghanaian players abroad. One, I see Tony as a pioneer. He's the reason a lot more, Ghanaian black players were able to move to Europe and feel comfortable. You can see his impact wherever he plays. And you're looking at the situation where he moved to a club like Leeds, where, they had missed out on a number of their targets, started the season really badly, were in the relegation zone. And then this relatively unknown guy comes from nowhere, ends up scoring about 13, 14 goals in the final 20 matches of the season, and they finished fifth and qualified to Europe. I define that as his prime because he came in from nowhere and he elevated the club, not just with his goals, but with his impact. And so in that regard, I think what he did in that league makes him a bit apart with Abedi. Honestly, if it was career for career, pound for pound, Abedi is clear. Look, 3 times Cup Player of the Year. I could list everything that he's done. But in that period where he kept on scoring crazy goals, left foot, right foot, volley, I just think he had a real case there of being the best Ghanaian player at that moment or in that span. And I think that gives him a chance. Although I agree that, Abedi had the better career though.
Well, yeah, so I love Tony, and Tony has always been one of my football idols, just because he played for Owuraku United before he moved out. So yeah, but I think that for Abedi Pele, he was something special, something the country had never seen. Now, I'm not even going to base my arguments on how good he was on the pitch or whatever. I'm just going to say some of the things he did for Ghana, because if you look at the list of African Player of the Year winners, Abedi is one of the only players who has won 3 times. There's been 10 players who have won multiple times. Abedi has 3 times. Ghana has won the award 6 times. Out of those 6 times, 3 has been Abedi. And Ghana is actually right behind Cameroon as the country that has won the most African Player of the Year awards. So it just tells you that, there was just something exceptional about the man that puts him away from all of that. Now, if you look at how he also went to Marseille, the fact that Marseille CEO Benatapi had to lie that he had HIV just to get him. For someone to go those lengths to try to get a player, I should tell you that he was something special. And even joining that Marseille team, the thing people don't get is that Marseille had a really good team, an already good team, but they still needed someone to man the wings, someone to get in there and try to get them a bit more firepower up front. And when Abedi came, he just propelled them to the UEFA Champions League title. So, it's a difficult one, but I just feel like Abedi is the better player, and that's why I would disagree on the fact that Abedi is that Tony was better in his prime than him. 2 players that I respect so much, but it's Abedi for me. I disagree.
Yeah, I think I get it too, because
are you going to come back?
I'm considering, because from 1991 to 1993 for maybe 5, Abedi was untouchable. The interesting thing about Abedi is that I think if the Ballon d'Or was expanded to all continents just a couple of years before, he would have been the first African to win it.
Thank you.
At that time, he had just won the CAF, Player of the Year 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I think if the Ballon d'Or came around 1992, he would have probably edged it out, because where did he even do so much?
Yeah.
Abedi had won the Champions League with Marseille and all that. So,
do so much.
I was more of the fence than agree, but I guess I'm going to join you.
Jordan Ayew is better than Andre Ayew. Do you agree or disagree?
Come on now. Come. No, I don't even understand. I think all of this started with that whole quote about Abedi saying that Jordan is the most. What is talent?
Yeah. The thing is that, so people watch Jordan and say he has talent. He holds up the ball nicely. His deliveries are good, whatever. But Andre was something special, and I feel like people forget Andre in 2008 into 2010. And there's one thing I keep saying, that if Andre had played that Uruguay game, we would have gone to the semi-final of the World Cup, if only he had played. And that was just because he just had an X factor about him. He was that guy. Jan was scoring the goals, but he was the man behind conducting everything. And I don't see how you talk about talent and try to undermine a player like Andre. I mean, Andre, Jordan is your brother, but come on, it's not.
I just feel it's one of those father moments where you clearly know who's better, but you're just saying it to the inferior one to pump him up because you know the one who